First and foremost, before we get started, I like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rikah Kwadash, and the ones those great millstone, while lunch is truth, and also to those elect that is scattered abroad. I like to say, Shalom, and come back here today with another great, powerful lesson through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And the type of the lesson is New York becomes first state to roll out digital ID system. So I like to say shalom to all our listeners and learners. Hope this will help you today and guide you back in the path of righteousness and back to your true power, which in fact is Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So before we start the lesson, I have a quick Google search here, and it reads, it said, New York becomes first state to roll out Bill Gates' digital ID system. Let's get a little bit more. It says here, it said, New York has become the first U.S. state to roll out Bill Gates' digital ID system. So as the slow march towards a Chinese-style social credit score system looks set to become reality for New Yorkers. It says here, it's Governor Kathy Hochul announced the launch of the digital ID system online, nicknaming it the New York Mobile ID. According to the Democrat governor, the digital ID will initially be a voluntary way for New Yorkers to store their driver license and non-driver's ID. So eventually, the system will become mandatory. Remember that, mandatory for all residents who wish to participate in society. So one thing about it is, hey man, these things are lining up. So we constantly seeing that they're laying out the groundwork for this new system, this new digital program, but also implantable. And also it said it will be mandatory. So we already know that he causes all, both great and small, rich and poor, to receive a charagma in their right hand or in their forehead. So we're seeing how these things are lining up. We're seeing that they put these digital IDs in place. You know, right now, New York has begun the rollout of this new system, this new beast banking system. It's going to work hand in hand with this new digital currency. We already knowing what's happening with the petrodollar agreement. So the petrodollar is pretty much done. Also, the end of the dollar is the end of America. So we know we're coming upon these times, and a lot of people, they're going to trust in this system. They're going to trust and lean. And one thing about it, they will be totally destroyed. The Lord said, do not take it. Trust and believe Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. So we already see it right here. The devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We knowing that right now, these digital IDs is going to do away with your driver license, your ID cards, your credit cards, your debit cards, and one thing about it, your medical, anything, your medical history, your insurance, everything will be in this, will be digitalized. So we're seeing that we're coming upon this time. So things are getting ready to go digital. And one thing about it, we know we transforming it to this new blockchain system. This new technology is coming into place left and right. And in order to be a part of this society, this cashless society, you're going to have to take it under the skin. All roads lead to the MOTB. So let's get a little bit more on this article. Let's go to this one right here. It's basically saying the same thing, but just a little bit more edification. It says here, it says Governor Hochul announced launch of the New York Mobile ID. So one thing about it, so it's gonna come in an app. So you already know that I was saying about the Fed Now app, when it's already in place. So all these things are already here. They just now announcing it. It's already been here. You know, the stage is set. All things are ready. So it says here. Let's read that once again at the top. It says Governor Hochul announces launch of New York Mobile ID. And it says here, it said on Tuesday, June the 11th, a few days ago, Governor Kathy Hochul announced the launch of New York Mobile ID, a secure digital version of a state-issued driver license, learner permit, or non-driver ID, or state ID, issued ID. This innovative service offered by the New York State Department of Motor Vehicles, DMV, aims to provide New Yorkers with a convenient and secure way to carry their identification and their smartphone. I said the mobile ID is available for both iOS iPhone user and Android users who possesses a valid state issued ID. So we're seeing right now, this technology right now is in place. So they telling you that it's going to be, very convenient. It's going to be very helpful. You know what I'm saying? It's going it's very homeless, quick. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be a better way of doing things. And a lot of people, they're going to get enticed by it. They're going to trust in this new technology. And one thing about it, that, we're not ignorant of Satan's device. So we know we're coming upon these times and we are here. It is at the door. So we're seeing that we're here. So now, before we start today's lesson, we'll get let's go to the book I just quoted, might well get it. Let's go here to the book of Blue Letter, the book of 2 Corinthians chapter 2 and verse 11. It said, lest Satan should get an advantage of us. We are not ignorant of his devices. And everybody's talking about his mindset, his agenda, his plan, his plot. You know what I'm saying? One thing about who is the physical counterpart of Satan. That is what the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. It says here in the NLT, the Blue Letter, it says so that Satan will not outsmart us, for we are familiar with his evil scheme. So that's what he's getting ready to put into play. The new world order. He want what? Total control. And one thing about tracking and tagging. And one thing about it, we seeing that we coming upon this time, the hour of temptation, Jacob's trouble. And one thing about it, we constantly warning you of these impending dangers because what? It is at the door. So before we go any further, let's look up the word device. Let's get a little bit more edification here. Let's look up the word device. Let's go down here to and we seeing it's right in front of your face. Let's go here to G 35:4. Let's see what it says here.
Strong's G 3540.
Naima. Let's see what it see. Let's see what the biblical use. It says here, the one we're looking for is number 2. It says mental perception, thought. It says here is an evil purpose. That's basically what we want. It's spot on right here. No, evil agenda. You know what I'm saying? Dealing with a mischievous device, and also it goes into that his perception. You know what I'm saying? His thought. You know what I'm saying? His mindset. So we know that we're here. He constantly imagine a vain thing, but the Lord said he will not be able to perform his enterprise. So now let's go back out. Let's get another quick precept before we start today's video. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter 10, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. And it reads, it said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed. So one thing about when you go into that word decree, it goes into a law. So you're seeing that they're passing a lot of legislation, a lot of law very quickly. Just like this law passed about this, they're going to automatically just enroll you into this selected service, in the military, men and women. So we already know that they're preparing for law. And also, they constantly using mischief and deception, lies and deceits. But we already know the main goal is that that RFD microchip, which in fact is the mark of the beast. So let's read this once again. It says here, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1. It said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, with that right grievousness which they have prescribed. Let's read it once again. Butchered it a little bit. It says here, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1 said, woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees, and that right grievousness which they have prescribed or authorized. So we seeing that right now. They constantly bringing things to light. They constantly passing laws and bills, putting things in place, telling you about it's increased this bird flu, telling you about this bird flu, telling you about increased extreme heat, telling you about these war tensions, all these things. They're constantly coming to pass. They're constantly lining up. But one thing about it is all through the spirit and the power of Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai. The Lord is in perfect control. The white man is not in control. And one thing about it, the Lord controls the left-hand side and also the right-hand side. The Lord is causing these things to happen because the Lord is getting ready to usher in the kingdom of heaven that dwells in righteousness. So let's read it in the NLT. It says, Isaiah chapter 10 and verse 1 in the NLT said, what sorrow awaits the unjust judges and those who issue unfair laws. And one thing about it said, we constantly seeing that he constantly doing mischief, doing all sorts of unrighteous acts, all sorts of inequalities, all sorts of oppression and perverseness, you know what I'm saying, and wickedness. And the Lord's getting ready to take this man out. And one thing about it, we cannot wait. So we seeing they're laying the groundwork, for this new system. It's going to be dealing with your biometrics, face recognition, palm, eye and iris scan. These things are coming into play. Just wave your hand. It's already here. It's already started in China. So China is the blueprint. What's coming to America? It's also done started in Canada. It's Australia, in the EU, Sweden. These things are already in place. So one thing about it, so hey, they're getting ready to roll it out right before our eyes. We're seeing it that it is happening. And one thing about it, we're seeing that these prophecies are speaking loud and clear. And also, you can use this digital ID at these airports, So it's already started up in New York, I think, the state where I'm in, Louisiana, Arizona, I think Pennsylvania, Colorado. It's a couple of other states. It's 9 more other states. But one thing about we're seeing that it's constantly growing. So it's going to start in New York and it's going to spread throughout the United States, which in fact is Babylon the Great. So we're seeing that we're here. It's very convenient. It's very fast and quick and helpful. You know what I'm saying? But one thing about it, we're not ignorant of Satan's devices. Once again, his agenda, his plan, his plot. What is that? The new world order. One world currency, one world religion, one world government. And one thing about it, he's imagined a vain thing. The Lord is getting ready to come back to set everything back into order. So we'll start today's video. And after the video, we'll start the lesson. And I hope that you will get edified.
Just launched a new app called New York Mobile ID. You can download it right now and in some cases use it to replace a traditional hard copy of your license. Our Caroline Flynn is in Bethpage. And Caroline, what does this process look like?
Well, Tara, we're going to get to that in just a moment. But first, I want to tell you one of the benefits that the state is hoping you'll find beneficial as well. And that is, I've got it up on my phone right now, the New York Mobile ID app. And you can see I don't have to cover any of my data. One of the things that's great about this is when you pull it up, you don't see any personal information like your address. So it's giving you a little bit more privacy than when you typically hold your license in your hand. My Mobile New York is supposed to bring convenience when it comes to waiting online at security in the airport. No need to dig through your carry-on to find your state-issued ID.
You don't need to pull up your boarding pass. When you use the New York Mobile ID, the TSA will know automatically whether or not you have a boarding pass.
And it's quick to download and set up. I did it in 3 minutes. You download the app, verify your phone, snap a few photos of your license, followed by a selfie, and then wait to be approved. It should take a few seconds. The app is also supposed to speed up time on the TSA line.
It's a great thing. It's a nightmare at the airports right now.
It just seems to be another step. I can see people fumbling with their phone online, and it just seems to be another additional form of torture that we have to put up with.
Right now, my mobile app is only accepted at LaGuardia and JFK airports in New York.
I'm senior citizen. I'm not into new technology.
Well, it makes it easier for people, and it's accurate and safe. Sure.
All right, now you don't want to leave your driver's license home just yet. Of course, it's important to bring anytime you're traveling, especially if you're going to be behind the wheel of a car, but also because this app, things like it, these facial recognition apps are only available in different forms at 30 different airports in the nation. And know that if you have TSA PreCheck, that's something you can use with this app as well. Back to you.
Thank you.
The TSA is now accepting digital IDs from travelers in 9 states. In order for the ID to be accepted at the TSA checkpoints, it has to be issued by one of these 9 states: California, New York, Georgia, Arizona, Maryland, Colorado, Louisiana, Iowa, and Utah. For more information on how to get your digital ID and use it, go to Forbes.com.
Do not comply with this next tyrannical government move, which just rolled out in Europe. We have unbelievable news over the past 24 hours out of Europe that the mainstream media, of course, is totally ignoring the story, which is, I'm sure, a surprise to you. It could have massive implications for you and your family. Yes, this is about Europe, but it's coming to the United States as we speak because the Federal Reserve is actively working on the very same thing, and the Biden administration wants it. The European Parliament voted to roll out the digital identification program. This will pass, and it will soon take over everyone's lives in the European Union. Your medical records, all of your personal information, your whereabouts, your movement through GPS, all of it being tracked instantaneously and verified by the government.
Mandatory microchipping, a future of tracked citizens. Follow for more and share your thoughts. Imagine living in a world where every citizen carries a unique digital signature, not in their pocket, but within their very skin. This isn't science fiction. A country has decided to implement mandatory microchipping for tracking and identification purposes. Every move tracked, every identity verified with a simple scan. Privacy as we know it would undergo a fundamental transformation. Supporters argue it's the key to unparalleled security and convenience. No more lost IDs, no more identity theft, they claim. Critics, however, see a darker side. They fear it's a step towards total surveillance, an infringement on personal freedoms. The implications are vast, affecting not just privacy, but the very fabric of society. How would such a shift change us? We're curious about your thoughts. Dive into the comments and let's explore this future together. Don't forget to follow for more discussions.
Would you get microchipped? This might sound crazy, but in Sweden, about 30,000 people since 2015 have voluntarily put a rice grain-sized biochip in their hand, which acts as an ID, opens doors, and is used as a payment method. As the feds roll out the CBDC's central bank digital currency, the building blocks for a cashless society, you have to wonder if in the future, instead of paying for everything with your smartphone, if you will do it using a chip. This might seem far-fetched, but my question to you is, would you chip or no chip?
So we're seeing that they're constantly laying out the groundwork. We're seeing that we're very close. So this digital ID is just setting it up for social credit scoring, whereby they'll be able to monitor you. They'll be able to have you under total surveillance. Also, they're going to be setting up these, they already have them in place, these smart cities. You know what I'm saying? So it's going to be total control. And one thing about it is once you get on this social credit score system, it's going to be dealing with your transaction. They're going to be where you can go and buy and sell, Revelation chapter 13. 15 to 18, so you will not be able to buy or sell not if you're not a part of this system. So we're seeing that they're putting it in place. And also we know that this digital money that's coming, the CBDC, is going to work hand in hand with that grain of rice, the sea hill. We know that we're here. And one thing about it, that's why the Lord said, has set you up, has set these prophets, the one in the highways by with these video pistol watchmen of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, standing on their watch and stand on fire for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So we know that we're here. It is at the door. So now let's start here, and also it's going to work with that universal basic income. Let's start here, Daniel chapter 8. Very quickly, let's do the spirit and power of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Daniel chapter 8, Salakia. And we'll start up at verse 28. We'll start here. One moment. So we know that the universal basic income is going to work. A lot of people are going to get enticed by that. They're already getting enticed by these digital IDs. It's very convenient. It's very safe. It's very quick. It's very harmless. And so those type of things going to get to a lot of people. A lot of people right now are still asleep. While you're sleeping, the devil is constantly getting busy. The so-called white man constantly getting busy each and every day, bringing forth his agenda. One thing about it, we already knowing that, the Lord is getting ready to cut him off. So now let's start here. Daniel chapter 8 and verse 25. And through his policies also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of prince, but shall be broken without hands. And one thing about that's when the Lord returned, the Prince of Prince, the Lord of Lord, the Kings of Kings. You know, one thing about it is that we know that the Lord is going to return, you know what I'm saying, and set everything back in order. So we already know right now by his policy. So let's go into that word policy right quick. Let's get a little bit edification on this word policy, and we're going to look up craft also. Let's see here. Let's see here. It said craft. It said H 4820. Let's get a look it up right quick here.
Strong's H 4820. Mirma.
See what it says here. It said online biblical use. It said deceit and treachery. Hey man, one thing about it is spot on, man. It's blue there. It's spot on through the spirit and power. Yahweh Shai said deceit, deceitful, deceitfully, false, guile, fringe, craft, subtlety, treachery. So we already know what happened in the Goy. You know, that same old serpent. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, you know what I'm saying, is here today. You know what I'm saying? He was more subtle than any beast of the field. And out about it, you know, we already know that same spirit in these modern day Esau, Edom today. So one thing about it is that, you know what I'm saying, the wicked that the Bible speaks of. So we see it right now, he's going to use what? Deceit, treachery. And also, you know, he's going to use that what? Subtlety. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, you know, never trust thy enemy. So now let's go here. Let's go back out. Let's go to craft. Let's see what craft say. Let's see, something by his craft. I seen that word craft. Let's check this out. Let's go here. We looked up policy. We seen that that's going in, you know, his agenda, you know, also his mindset. Let's go here. H 4820. See what it reads.
Strong's H 4820. Mirma.
Salakia.
Mirma.
I just came out of this. Salakia. Salakia for that. Salakia. Moving a little fast. Let's go here. I went to crowd first. Salakia. I went to crowd first. Now let's go to policy. I got it mixed up. See what it has here. It's a H 7922.
Strong's H 7922. Seichel. And second entry, Sechel.
Seiko or Sacco. See what it says here. It said prudent, insight, understanding. It said prudence, good sense. It's an insight, understanding. But the one we want is C, cunning, craft, bad sense. So that's what he's very cunning right now. You know what I'm saying? Very using subtlety, you know. One thing about it, we knowing that he's constantly trying to move under the radar. But one thing about it, the Lord is constantly making him bearer and bearer. So this is what I wanted to look up first, but it worked out for the best. I got a little bit backwards, but we see that, you know, y'all understand through the spirit. But one thing about it, we seeing that, you know, we looked up the word policy, you know, in interstellar and also craft, you know, so pretty much, you know, his cunningness going into his deceit, his subtlety, also his treachery that he's getting ready to bring upon the earth, you know, this new world order. So we're not ignorant of his devices once again. So let's read this once again. It said, and through his policies also he shall cause craft to prosper in his hand, and he shall magnify himself in his heart, and by peace shall destroy many, and he shall also stand up against the prince of prince, but shall be broken without hands. So one thing about it, we already know that he's trying to magnify himself, you know, this new world order. You know, he wants to, you know, constantly opposing and exalting himself, constantly speaking great words against Yahweh, Ba'ashim Yahushua. But one thing about it, you know, he will not be able to perform his enterprise. So now let's go here to Psalms. Let's go here to Psalm chapter 94. Psalm chapter 94. And verse 20. Psalm chapter 94 and verse 20. Let's get this one right quick. Random scriptures. Let's go here. It says here, Psalm chapter 94 and verse 20, it said, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which framest mischief by a law. So that's what we constantly seeing right now. He constantly framing mischief by a law or by a decree, you know, just like this military, you know what I'm saying, it's going to be automatic, you know, these 18 to 26 men's and also women. And one thing about it, you know what I'm saying, you know, they're constantly preparing for war. We're seeing that the heathens are raging left and right any given day. Once again, let's see what it said in the NLT. It said, can unjust leaders claim that the Almighty is on their side? Leaders who decrees permit injustice. So that's what we're seeing left and right. But the Lord is getting ready to return. The Lord is getting ready to shed light on all this wickedness. We're seeing that he's constantly breaking this place down brick by brick. We're seeing that America is on the decline. We're constantly seeing that our infrastructure, we're seeing that our economic system is constantly breaking down. This is all by design, but by design of who? Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. And one thing about we knowing that America will be totally destroyed. So, shall the throne of iniquity have fellowship with thee, which frameth mischief by a law, who is the throne of iniquity? You know what I'm saying? We talking about these globalists, the so-called white men. They constantly running things left and right. So we're in a spiritual warfare right now. We're seeing that things are constantly happening left and right. We can't hardly keep up with all these things. Increased violence, all sorts of wickedness, all sorts of things that get ready to happen. A time of trouble that we have never seen before. So now let's go here to let's go to the New Testament. Let's go here to 2 Thessalonians chapter 2, and we'll start up at verse 7. And it reads that, for the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out the way. And one thing about it, the mystery of iniquity doeth already work. So we seeing it right now working left and right. And one thing about it, we already know he's seeing that his days is determined. And one thing about it, we knowing that the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath, because knowing that he have a very short time. He's seeing that all these other nations are turning against him. We're seeing that the BRIC nation is rising. We're seeing that all these nations are constantly turning back on America. And one thing about it, bringing forth their own alliance. Also, they bringing forth their own currency to what? To de-dollarize the dollar, and also to bring America down to his knees. So America is getting ready to be totally destroyed. They shall burn the whore, and he who now led us is talking about the what? Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. One thing about it, he's in perfect control. So one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to take him out of the way, and we cannot wait. And it says here, and then shall that wicked be revealed, whom the Lord shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, the prophets, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So one thing about it, so that wicked has been revealed, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of. And also we seeing right now, he shall be consumed with the spirit of his mouth, his wisdom, his knowledge, his understanding, his gospel, meaning the highways and byways, making these video pistols left and right, constantly exposing, constantly, is chatting this place down, DTA, a ball. We ready to get the hell out of this nightmare and get back with our Lord and Savior forever and forever. That's why the Lord said, look for the brightness of his coming out of the east. The Lord is getting ready to crack those clouds with great glory and great power. And that fathership, what they English call UFO or UAP, but you're going to come in the chariots of the Most High. One thing about it, with the thousands of angels. And boy, that's going to be a beautiful sight. Every eye shall see him, even the one that pierced him. You got to believe in reincarnation. A lot of people don't believe in it. You have lived 7 times before. There's no new thing under the sun. They tried this back in Nimrod time, tried to build that tower. The Lord, confound the language. But the Lord's getting ready right now, show forth his power once again. And one thing about it, hey man, when the Lord show up, there ain't gonna be no more talking. So now, let's go here. Verse 9, it says, even him who's coming is after the workings of Satan with all powers and signs and lying wonders. And now about who is coming is after the workings of Satan. The physical counterpart of Satan is the what? The so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, with these signs and lying wonders. So we already know this digital ID, talking about this mobile ID app, very quick and convenient. Also, it's just this newer link, or, you'll be able to see again. You'll be able to walk again. You'll be able to be smarter again. You'll be just like a superhero. You will have immortality. One thing about constantly imagine a vain thing. And one thing about it is that, the Lord's getting ready to put it to rest very soon. So a lot of people going to believe in these signs and these lying wonders, these lying miracles. We're seeing it right here, man. Let's read in the NLT. He said, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 9 said, this man will come to this man not no God. This man will come to do the work of Satan, the so-called white man, with counterfeit power and signs and miracles. So one thing about that counterfeit power goes into what? AI, robotics, transhumanism, you know what I'm saying? Pseudoscience. And one thing about it, the pseudo salvation, But one thing about it, he's constantly imagining a vain thing. He's thinking that he is going to take Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shai down. But one thing about it, we cannot wait. The Lord's getting ready to destroy him in 1 hour. He's going to make a speedy witness of this place very soon. And all the heathens are getting ready to know their place. Slavery is coming back in a big way. What was done to us is getting ready to be done to them. And man, I'm telling you, Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. Verse 10, it says, and with all deceivingness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. So a lot of people going to go right on with this program. All the lies and the deception. You know what I'm saying? Hey, they going to say, hey, man, hey, I got to do it because I have to eat. I'm going to have to do it because my medication. You know what I'm saying? I'm weak. You know what I'm saying? I'm effeminate. I'm afraid. And one thing about it, the Lord is going to totally destroy you. You wicked Negroes, you wicked Latinos, you wicked Native Indians. If you trust in his system, if you trust in the your oppressor, the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, the Lord said he will totally destroy you. It's called the lake of fire. America will be a lake of fire. That is the second death. You know what I'm saying? These are not my words. These are the words of Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, the one that sent me. So let's read it in the NLT. It said, he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept let's start back over. Verse 10 again in NLT say, he will use every kind of evil deception to fool those on their way to destruction, because they refuse to love and accept the truth that would save them. So one thing about it, those are the two there. The election hesitated and the rest was blind. That's why the Lord gonna give them over to a strong delusion. These reprobate, these good for nothing, these useless eaters. And one thing about it, only we're gonna be fuel for the fire. And one thing about it, hey man, the Lord's getting ready to set your ass on fire very soon. That same rebellious house that did not want to return to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai. The Lord's getting ready to put that fire on you very soon. Verse 11 said, and for this cause, the Almighty send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Let's read in NLT. So the Almighty Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, called them to be greatly deceived, and they will believe these lies. And one thing about it, a lot of our people right now believing all these lies and deception. Hey, man, that's not the mark of the beast. That's not going to happen. But one thing about it, hey, we're not worried about your unbelief. We see that it's happening right before our eyes. The Bible is a true book. And one thing about it, hey, it's lining up just like clockwork. And one thing about it, the Lord has blinded you. You cannot understand this truth. And you still hollering on about white man Jesus. The Lord has gave you a strong delusion. You keep saying that the RFD microchip is not the mark of the beast. The Lord has gave you a strong delusion. And one thing about it, you keep hollering about everyone can be saved. The Lord has gave you a strong delusion, and you're getting ready to die. We constantly warn you left and right. So let's read this, verse 12. It says here, it says, 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 and verse 12 said that they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but had pleasures in unrighteousness. The truth there, that's reading in NLT, said, then they will be condemned for enjoying evil rather than believing the truth. And one thing about it, our people, you know what I'm saying, they hate the good and love all sorts of wickedness, you know what I'm saying, each and every day. They gonna fall right in line. They gonna line up like clockwork. Take me, I accept it. You know what I'm saying? I wants to eat. That universal basic income. You know what I'm saying? I got the feed box. I haven't eaten in several days. It's okay. I don't give a damn what you give me. But one thing about it, the Lord is gonna give you something very soon. You know what I'm saying? They shall know it, death by pain. You know what I'm saying? So now let's go here. Let's go here to Isaiah chapter. Let's go back to the Old Testament. Let's get this. We're going to get two more and then we're going to close out. Isaiah chapter 30. Isaiah chapter 30. We start at verse 1. He said, woe to the rebellious children, says the Lord, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. So one thing about it, they they have that strong delusion, they are very perverse, and one thing about very wicked, that through thy will spirit. And one thing about it, they don't have the right covering on them, they are naked right now. And one thing about it, they're not in this marvelous light. This wisdom and knowledge shall be what? The stability of the time. So we see it right here. That a lot of our people going to be destroyed because of what? A lack of knowledge. Let's read it in the NLT, see what it says. It said, what sorrow awaits my rebellious children, says the Lord. Said, you make plans that are contrary to mine. You make alliance not directed by my spirit, thus piling up your sins. See, so we see it right here. So a lot of people, they're going to trust in the strength of Egypt and will be totally destroyed. This new system, this new technology, these lying wonders. You understand what I'm saying? So one thing about it, that's not the Lord's spirit. The Lord said, put your total trust in him. Lean not on your own understanding, but trust and believe in Yahweh. By Hashem Yahushua. The Lord already said he will protect us. He will provide for us, in ways that we do not know how. Supernatural intervention is here ready to come into play. When the enemy coming like a flood, the Lord is going to lift up that standard. Amen. We seeing that we're very close. Isaiah chapter 30 and verse 2 said that walk to go down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth the prophet to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh, and to trust in the shadow of Egypt. And one thing about it, a lot of people going to trust in this new system. Go down into Egypt. We already know in Egypt is a work hand in hand with the house of bondage. Also, when our last captivity. And one thing about it, the Lord's getting ready to come to deliver us. The Lord's getting ready to crack those clouds. And one thing about it, a lot of people going to trust in the modern day Pharaoh, the so-called white man. All his lying wonders, his deceits, his subtlety, his treachery. A lot of our people to this day, they constantly getting rocked back to sleep from their left hand side. One thing about it, they are going to be totally destroyed. That's reading in the NLT. It said, for without consulting me, the prophets, through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema, you have gone down to Egypt, this system, talking about this broken reed, America, Babylon the Great, this government, it's going to get you caught up in this Ebenet, Egypt for help. You have put your trust in Pharaoh, the so-called white man. His good is the universal basic income, this digital IDs, this Neuralink. You don't just wave your hand. You get caught up in all the Pharaoh's protection, and you have tried to hide in his shade. And one thing about it, that's the 2/3. They're gonna try to just flop with the devil. And one thing about it, hey, you cannot escape the hands of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So that's what's going to happen. A lot of people are going to try to save their life, but they're getting ready to lose their life. The one that lose their life on this side, that gave up everything and followed Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, the Lord said you will get 100-fold in the kingdom of heaven. And one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to return. Verse 3 said, therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. So that's getting ready what to happen to you. So you're getting ready to be shamed. You're getting ready to be dumbfounded. Also, you're getting ready to be what? Totally destroyed, disgraced. You know what I'm saying? Let's read it in the NLT. Boy, this blue letter's off the chain. But by trusting Pharaoh, the so-called white man, you will be humiliated. And by depending on him, you will be disgraced. Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So one thing about it, the Lord is getting ready to cease the arrogance of the proud. And one thing about it, in that day, everyone is going to know the true names of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Every tongue shall confess, every knee shall bow down through the spirit of power. Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. So now let's go to our last and final script. Let's go here to back to the New Testament. Let's go here to 1 Peter. We'll close out here. 1 Peter chapter 5, and Salaki if I was all over the place. 1 Peter chapter 5, and let's highlight this here. We're going to start up at verse 7, but the point is verse 8. Let's get this here. Let's highlight them a little bit. I always like to highlight. 1 Peter chapter 5 and verse 7 said, casting all your cares upon him, for he cares for you. In the NLT, it reads, it said, give all your worries and cares to Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua, for he cares about you. He cares about the what? The 1/3, the elect, the house of David, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Verse 8, he said, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walks about seeking whom he may devour. So one thing about it, so hey, you got to be what? Watching. You got to be on one alert. And one thing about it, you got to be circumspect. Redeem the time wisely. You know what I'm saying? Trusting and believing in Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Your faith is going to be maxed out. One thing about it, we know we're coming upon the hour of temptation, the hour of what? A testing. You know what I'm saying? One thing about it, the Lord already know who is Lord to him. That is the house of David, the true believers of Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua. Let's read in NLT. It says, verse 8, it says, stay alert, watch out for your great enemy, the devil. He prowls around like a roaring lion, looking for someone to devour. And one thing about it, so we already know right now that the devil is getting ready to come down with great wrath. We know when the enemy come in like a flood, the Lord's going to lift up that stand. That's why the Lord said, put all your cares upon him. And one thing about it, the Lord is going to do the rest. And one thing about it, the Lord said, wait on me until I rise up against the prey. So that's what the Lord's getting ready to do. Even though they putting all these things into place, they're laying out the groundwork for this digital society. All road leads to the what? The grain of right. You will not be able to bow to self. We're not taking it under the what? The skin. The men of the Lord are constantly warning you, left and right, whether you will hear or whether you will forbear. So the title of today's lesson, once again, is New York become first state to roll out digital ID system. So I'd like to give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh by Hashem, Yahushua by Hashem, Rekah Kwadash. I like to say, Shalom, Shalom.